Okay, so by doing this one technique, I basically tripled my productivity in like one decision. The thing is, the most important exams of my life, so end of high school exams, are in 1 month. So now basically that I've gotten some anxiety because, I want to basically do them good, I started to study lot more. But how did I do it? I remember that I had so much problems with doing more than 2 hours of work because I was so tired after the first 2 hours that the thought of me just now having to sit and predetermine another like 1 hour or something session would completely scare me off, and I wouldn't do it. The one thing I did was to change from this device. This device is a timer. I can just, it's funny timer because I can just, wait, I can just, just do something like this, and now it will visually decrease until the timer goes off. And I have switched from this device to using just a regular stopwatch. And you might think it's stupid, like why would it change anything about your productivity? But listen, you probably heard this before. The hardest thing in focusing, in doing your work, in studying or anything basically, is sitting and starting to do the work. Just think about this. If you have to study and you are just there laying on your bed scrolling or even chilling, even talking with your family or something, the thought of you starting the work scares you completely. Like it's, oh my god, I have to do some work, but it's so scary and stuff. But the thing is, the hardest thing is to start. Once you are working and you are like 20 minutes in, you are getting into like flow and you are experiencing that the work isn't that hard. So when you are using a timer, you are predetermining the time you will work, and this might kind of feel overwhelming because especially once you are tired, once you already have done some work, you can feel overwhelmed by another like 1 hour session incoming or something. And now if you use stopwatch, you're just putting a stopwatch on and you can basically tell yourself that, okay, I'm gonna work until I no longer feel like working, and then I might do some break. And this may sound stupid, but I tripled my productivity. The first day I started to use a stopwatch was because I got so angry the day before that I couldn't do my math problems, that I decided that the next day I will just sit and do my exercises until I'm basically okay with the subjects I had problems with. And to measure some time, I decided to just put a stopwatch on, and that day I did 7 hours and 15 minutes of fucking work, which is crazy. Because for me, like doing 3 hours before using like timer, this was like enormous. But 7 hours, like I would have never think that I would be able of doing something like this. And this wasn't only that day, because I told you that I was angry because I started to just study using timer. I was just studying and counting the time instead of counting down the time. And because of it, I'm like now like constantly doing like 4 hours, 6 hours of studying every day. Of course, the pressure is here because the exams are in 1 month. But for me, the instant change in my productivity, this is a very cool thing. So now if you're using a Pomodoro technique, or if you're just counting down time using some timer, maybe try to switch to regular stopwatch and just try to do the counting opposite way. Try to count how much you work instead of count down how much work you have left to do. I think this method is so effective because first you decide when you do breaks and how much you want to work. Sometimes I sit to work and I can focus for 2 hours straight, but sometimes after 30 minutes I feel exhausted and I need like a break. And second, and I think even more important thing, is that it is easier to sit down to work because you're not predetermining time that you will have to focus for like 1 hour or 2 hours. You're just sitting and doing the work. This reduces friction by a lot. So I know I'm not consistent on YouTube. I'm just doing it for fun because yeah, I want to really give you value which I think would really help you. So thank you for watching this video. If you did, I hope this tip helps you. I promise you, try to use a stopwatch instead of doing the timer, and I think it will get you results. Thank you for watching this video again. Subscribe to this channel if you want, and yeah, see you in the next one. See you.